Flowers of the Sweet Olive Tree. Long ago, in a certain village in the prefecture of Totori, there stood a single house owned by a samurai. One day, an old man went to the house for a visit, as he and the samurai had been friends for some time. That night was the time for moon viewing, and a large round moon shone its bright light into the garden. The two men extinguished all the lamps and sipped sake on the veranda as they gazed at the moon. From time to time, the fragrance of a sweet olive tree wafted by on a breeze. "Ah, what a pleasant scent," the old man said as he looked out over the garden. Just then, a young woman dressed in a white kimono appeared standing next to the sweet olive tree. Her long, dishevelled hair fell over her pale white face, and she stared fixedly in the direction of the two men. "That's strange," the old man said. "I must be getting a little drunk." He rubbed his eyes and started to stand up. Suddenly, the woman came up and abruptly thrust her face in between the two men. The old man involuntarily let out a cry, but the samurai remained totally unafraid. "Go on, get out of here," he yelled, "or I'll cut you down." The woman glided away and hid behind the sweet olive tree. "Dear me," the old man gasped, as he breathed a sigh of relief. "Oh, don't pay any attention to her," the samurai told the old man as he filled a cup with fresh sake. "Here, fill your drink." But after a while the woman appeared again, and this time started to walk back and forth in front of the veranda. Now the old man could not even think about his sake. He looked at the woman and trembled all over. The woman suddenly stopped in front of the two men, leapt up onto the veranda, and glared and laughed at them. A shiver went down the old man's spine and he was speechless. "You still don't understand what I mean," the samurai yelled as he unsheathed his sword and slashed at the woman without warning. But the woman deftly dodged the blows and moved away just like the wind. "Wait!" The samurai jumped down into the garden barefoot and chased after the woman. At last he came back, puffing and out of breath. "What an annoying wretch," he complained and spat disgustedly on the ground. "She may be a crazy woman, but it wouldn't be right to kill her," the old man said. "No, not at all. That woman's a ghost," the samurai replied. "When night falls, she appears like this all the time. If I leave the door open, she comes right into my room and gets up on the futon." "What are you saying? Aren't you afraid?" "Of course I am," the younger man replied. "Even a samurai is afraid of something like that. But I've become used to her, and no matter how I slash away with my sword, it never has any effect. If I chase her, she just runs away like the wind. Well, so that's what they call a ghost. But why do you suppose a ghost comes here? To tell the truth, I don't understand that myself." Hearing that, the old man was afraid to stay a moment longer. Thanking his host for the sake, he quickly went outside. The moon was still shining brightly down. As he went around toward the front gate, his eyes fell on the large sweet olive tree that stood where the woman had been. A sweet and sour fragrance filled his nostrils. Just then he heard the sharp sound of a branch being broken. Wondering what was happening, he appeared over toward the tree and saw that the ghost was breaking off one of the many branches of the sweet olive tree. The old man fled without another glance. After that day, the ghost came every night and broke off another branch of the sweet olive tree. By the time she had broken all of them off, the tree started to wither. Strangely enough, when it had withered away completely, the ghost no longer appeared. Soon after, the samurai passed away.